First off, thank you to all the subscribers that stuck around. That wheelie was for y'all. And welcome everybody who's new to the channel. I'm super into these FPV RC cars right now, but really, my channel is about anything that I want to make. It is my first person view of all of these crazy projects that I have going on. So please subscribe if you haven't, and let's get on to the vid. Right, so any good build starts with Google. You gotta know what you're gonna be in for, so you gotta look up the right thing. And you wouldn't believe that right off the bat, I found exactly what I thought I would. The low-C laser nut. Right, honestly, a friend told me about this. They said it was based off the Tenacity frame, which I guess is a good thing. And I thought so too. It has a full roll cage that I can mount all of my components to. The tires were huge and the suspension was soft out of the box, which is actually really helpful for an FPV RC car because it helps get out a lot of the jello or the vibrations that you would get from the road. So right off the bat, brand spanking new car gets to my house. I don't even drive it. I go straight to drilling holes in the thing. Bye-bye warranty. And I did this because I needed to run some wires from the battery to the outside of the frame so that I could power the video system. And I didn't do the greatest job at filming how I mounted it, so just stuck this picture in right here. Hopefully that clears stuff up. And yeah, we'll circle back to that in just a little bit. This is the power cable that runs to the video transmitting system, the DJI Air unit. I've got a little regulator that powers a fan and the LED on top of the fan, which I actually go into in a different video if you want to know why I'm using this. I'll put a link in the description. But yeah, the system works really good. It's what I use on all of the FPV cars. It's absolutely mandatory to get good video, in my opinion. You have to keep these things cool, and this is how I do it. Right, so no better way to mount this thing than by cutting a fat hole in the roof of my brand new car. So I thought, and actually, you know what? I think it came out pretty good. Let me know in the comments if you think there's a better place for me to do that. Now, really quick, I need to give a shout out to my buddy Benson. He designed and 3D printed the FPV camera mount that I use in my car, and he's giving the file away for free. I'll put a link to it in the description of this video, and if you want to build something like what I'm building, it's down there for you. Hey, thanks again, Benson. Right, so enough of that build stuff. Let's look at this car. This is the mount I'm going to use. My FPV camera is stuck in it with screws on either side, and the whole thing is VHB'd to the roof of the car. I also have these two screws mounted directly into the roll cage to keep everything nice and tight. Something I fail to point out on a lot of my builds is that I put my FPV camera up higher on the car when possible. This allows me to see a little bit farther and can help avoid obstacles like potholes and stuff. I also try to put the camera a little farther back rather than right above the front wheels, which helps with bumps in the video feed. Alright, and from this side, you can see that I have my FPV camera's cable snaked through the roof, going to the video transmitter, the DJI Air unit, and I've got these cables sticking out of the back, which are actually extensions that go up to my antennas. I run this because I want my antennas up as high as possible to give me better range. And from this side, you can really see the cooling system that I've mounted above the air unit. This is the thing that's really saving this piece of equipment from getting too hot and being damaged. I've got the whole system bolted to the roof in between the roll cage, and I've also got the power cable snaked around to the side right here. Alright, up top you can see I've got this fan grill covering up the fan, make sure no bugs get in there, and this bright LED that I stuck up top so my friends flying drones could find my car while they're up in the air. Now, here's that XT60 that I showed earlier in the video, and hopefully the whole build is starting to make sense now. Here are some 3D printed antenna mounts, again from Benson. I thought they were awesome how they wrap around the roll cage and keep the antennas upright. Here are some LEDs so that my friends following me with RC cars can find me. And here's the XT60 on the power cable that powers the fans, air unit, and that super bright LED. And yeah, that LED is stupid bright. It's actually really hard to tell from the camera, but that thing makes it easy for my buddies flying drones to spot me. Now, I almost forgot. I've got my RC receiver antenna mounted back here on the tire. I know it looks different than most 2.4 GHz antennas because it is. It's for a crossfire receiver, and I talk more about that in a different video, where I go over my custom radio and the rest of the gear that I use. Link in the description. Alright, and onto some juicy stuff, where I pop the hood of this thing and you get to see underneath. So, right off the bat, you'll notice I'm using the stock servo and the stock ESC. A slightly custom battery, it's a 4S 2P, it's an 8,000 milliamp hour battery basically, that I've ran the cables up to the top with. And here is my Crossfire micro receiver. This is what gives me enough range to go all the way through my neighborhood. Of course, along with the DJI FPV system. Now, this little guy right here is a super smart addition to my car. It's basically an incredibly loud buzzer that allows me to trigger it on and off if somebody were to pick my car up and steal it. It'll even go off if you unplug the battery to the car. Basically, you have to know how to turn it off, and if you pick this thing up and ran away with it, you're not going to want it anywhere near you until you Google the instructions on how to turn this little devil off. Yeah, so it's called a ViFly buzzer, and I will put a link to it in the description below. Now, before I get to show you this thing in all of its glory, I want to give you guys an update on my dog, King. This was him at the start of my last video when I got this car, and this is him today at 6 months old. He's basically a head taller than my 10-month-old shepherd, Kai, already, and by next month, he'll be heavier too. Me and this guy have been getting into some crazy adventures. I'll show you guys later on some other video, but yeah, say what's up to King in the comments for me.